Last Thursday, a second unvaccinated child died of measles-related illness in a growing Texas outbreak. When asked for his response on Sunday, Donald seemed completely unbothered.
How concerned are you about the measles outbreak? There was another fatality today, and what else would you like to see in terms of the response?
Well, I think they're doing reports on it. It's so far a fairly small number of people relative to what we're talking about. It's something that people have known about for many, many years. I mean, measles has been, this is not something new. And we'll see what happens. But certainly, if it progresses, we'll have to take action very strongly.
All right, I have something to say that is slightly unrelated to the topic at hand, which I will get back to. We keep hearing that the people who voted for Donald didn't vote for this thing, didn't vote for that thing. They voted because they wanted a stronger economy. They voted for him because they wanted lower prices. They believed his lies. Eggs were too fucking expensive. But they didn't vote for, I don't know, the destruction of the Western Alliance. They didn't vote for the dismantling of the American system of government. They didn't vote for fascism. They didn't vote for race. Well, yeah, they probably voted for racism. They didn't vote to have them be hurt by Donald's disastrous policies. They didn't vote for tariffs. They didn't vote to have our children unvaccinated. Okay, guys, you didn't vote for this? You just saw that response. That is a sociopathic, monstrous response to the unnecessary, completely preventable death of a child. And he could not muster one scintilla of empathy. He couldn't even pretend that he gave a shit about the death of a child. That his administration, that his Secretary of Health and Human Services is actively making more and more possible. There will be more deaths of our children because of the policy being set by the United States of America and the sociopaths running it. You didn't vote for it. This is what I have to say to you right now. Prove it to me. Prove it to us. Do something about it. Otherwise, what you tell me with your silence is you, like Donald, do not care. This is all collateral damage for what I don't even fucking know anymore. And I bet most of you don't either, unless you are the hardcore fascists, the white supremacists, the Christian nationalists, the anti-immigrant haters, the racists, the misogynists, the anti-Semites, and the Islamophobes who want this country to be that dark place of your dark vision where we no longer care about what happens to our children. So Donald is absolutely right. We have known about measles for years. We have known just how fatal and dangerous an illness it could be, which is why our scientists discovered a vaccine and why this country made sure for decades that our vaccination rate stayed above 95%. We already know what's going to happen, fucking asshole. Children are going to die. They're dying. A preventable, highly communicable disease is spreading aggressively in places where people are not protected because they listened to idiots like you. They listened to sociopaths like Robert Kennedy, who knows nothing about anything when it comes to how to protect our children or how to protect the health of the American people. There have been 3 total deaths in Gaines County, Texas, the epicenter of the measles outbreak, where vaccine rates in kindergartners is estimated at just 82%, which is 13% below where it needs to be. And I'm sorry, that is on the parents. You may listen to people who are spewing disinformation at you. It is your job as a parent to do your due diligence and find out what is actually talk to your doctors, for Christ's sakes. This outbreak is believed to have spread to Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, and Mexico. In the United States, measles cases this year have more than doubled the number from 2024, and it is only April. Children under 18 are the largest demographic of people being infected. So here comes Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert Kennedy to the rescue. Yes, he visited Ground Zero, Gaines County, on Sunday, where he comforted the families of the children who died. How? By saying, "Job well done"? What else could he possibly have to say? That should make your skin crawl. It should make you sick. And for those of you who support this, it should fill you with the kind of shame that makes you want to die. As you probably already know, Kennedy has a long history of speaking out against vaccines, erroneously tying them to increased levels of autism. He said he regrets having his own children vaccinated. Wow, that sounds loving. If you remember from his confirmation hearing, Senator Bernie Sanders pulled up images of baby onesies with anti-vax messaging. These were sold by a children's health nonprofit that Robert Kennedy founded.
One of them is titled Unvaxxed, Unafraid. Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way. Next one is No Vax, No Problem. Now, you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with leadership.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
I am supportive of vaccines. I will. I want good science, and I want to protect.
But you will not tell the organization you founded not to continue selling that product. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No, he won't, because he's lying. He's not pro-vaccine. Kennedy's mixed messages on vaccines continues. On Sunday, he posted a statement on Twitter stating the obvious.
Tonight, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. writing that the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. This despite his history of spreading vaccine misinformation.
Notice the language. This is not a call to action for widespread vaccination. Instead, Kennedy took a different approach, citing vitamin A as a method to, quote, reduce mortality with measles, which is anti-scientific. Vitamin A is solution? No. What is the solution? What is the solution to a highly communicable disease like measles, for which there's already a vaccine? Oh, yeah, the fucking vaccine. In fact, we're seeing cases of children with vitamin A poisoning and overdoses. A lot of people in this country are uninformed and easily misled. Remember, like, people started taking bleach during COVID because Donald, without any knowledge or expertise whatsoever, was telling them that that was what to do. They were taking a chemical that you put into a fish tank to clean the water to make it safe for fish and poisoning themselves. Kennedy once again continues to make Americans sicker and sicker and sicker. He has no intention of, quote unquote, making America healthy again. Additionally, Kennedy touted two anti-vaccine doctors posting on Twitter in part with zero medical evidence. And I do think it is worth pointing out at every opportunity that Kennedy is an environmental attorney with zero background in the sciences, especially sciences that are relevant to the matter at hand. He wrote, quote, visited with these two extraordinary healers who have treated and healed some 300 measles-stricken Mennonite children using aerosolized budesonide and clarithromycin, unquote. Okay, cool. I mean, what does that prove exactly? You know, measles is not always fatal. It is not mostly fatal. Children who get measles usually recover. Okay, so what is he trying to prove here? Nothing. Because all he's trying to do is change the subject. because the truth of the matter is the best way for a child to heal from measles is not to get it. And the only way not to get it is to get vaccinated. So I don't know if this is just some bizarre case of deja vu, or maybe it's just the truth that the Trump regime is once again maliciously and intentionally mishandling a public health crisis. Before we go further, though, please hit like, share this video, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We're pushing to get as many subscribers as possible. As independent media, your support helps us reach more people and keeps this thing going. I don't think this is accidental, but the Trump regime has laid off thousands of workers from federal health agencies, including the FDA, the HHS, and the CDC. A notable loss came from the nation's top vaccine regulator, Peter Marks, who was forced to resign after refusing to grant Robert Kennedy's access to a tightly secured vaccine safety database. While he allowed access to the information, he refused to let him directly edit the data. Because why should anybody allowed to edit data? Citing fears that Kennedy's team would maliciously edit or altogether delete the database. And yes, they would. Yamichel Sindor, a Washington correspondent for the Today Show, has more.
In his resignation letter, he wrote, quote, "It has become clear that truth and transparency are not desired by the secretary, but rather he wishes subservient confirmation of his misinformation and lies." Marks also called Kennedy's stance on vaccines irresponsible and a danger to the public.
There is obviously and understandably growing worry from experts and people with, I don't know, logic and human empathy that our country and its leaders will lack the expertise and manpower adequately to handle public health disasters like the one we're seeing unfold in Texas. We can't even trust them with handling vaccine data. Former NIAID director Dr. Anthony Fauci recently expressed his concern about the likelihood of another pandemic at the New Orleans Book Festival and how Donald's cuts could really completely screw us over. I'm sorry to speak so technically, but check this out.
We're dealing with H5N1 now, which is bird flu, which has taken the somewhat disturbing step of infecting mammals, namely cows and cats and other mammals, which means it's adapting itself more to a human. So my concern, Walter, is that whenever that happens, the next outbreak will be of a respiratory disease that's easily transmissible, that has a significant degree of morbidity.
And we are making this a little bit more dangerous with the cuts and our attitude toward science?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're removing the pandemic preparedness and response programs that we put in place, 5 or 6 years ago.
A little bit more dangerous? We're making it inevitable. We're clearly in terrible hands with Donald and his absolutely sociopathic pick to head Health and Human Services. But in case you needed more evidence, we of course have it. After so many federal public servants have been let go in the name of cutting costs, the National Institute of Health announced a multi-million-dollar program to research the causes of autism. And we'll look back into the mythical link between the MMR vaccine and autism, which has been put to bed by countless numbers of peer-reviewed articles by actual scientists, actual people who understand diseases and viruses and vaccines. This theory, as I said, has been disproven more times than I can count. There is zero evidence, absolutely zero evidence that the MMR vaccine causes autism. In fact, it has proven time and time again to be very safe. Public figures like Donald and Robert Kennedy refuse to accept this. And of course, we need to figure out why. Today, 1 in 4 adults in our country falsely believes that there is a link between vaccinations and autism, which is a number so high it should terrify us. Even some of Donald's allies are defecting from this stupidity. Oh, Great. Here comes the Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy, an actual medical doctor who was the deciding vote on Kennedy's appointment as Health and Human Services Secretary. In other words, Bill, it's a little too late. The blood is already on your hands. The death of those 2 children, sorry, you share responsibility for that despite your tweet. Quote, everyone should be vaccinated. There's no treatment for measles, no benefit to getting measles. Top health officials should say so unequivocally before another child dies, unquote. Yeah, file that under too little too late, and you're despicable. Ignorance is deadly, and we're seeing the ramifications of this misinformation as people, and including our children, die from easily preventable diseases, and not only easily preventable diseases, but diseases we have prevented. The American people have had it. Over the weekend, millions of Americans across the country joined the hands-off protests, rallying against Donald and Elon's authoritarian takeover, and attacks on our healthcare were one of the many issues that motivated people to show up. One sign reading cheap eggs? Nope, measles. Another, keep your tiny hands off my healthcare. And another, mark it down, measles up. I am glad that the American people are paying attention. But unfortunately, this is another one of those instances where the power is in the hands of the people who want us to be sick. There is no other way to explain what is going on here. They want us to be sick. They want us to be desperate, and they want us to be afraid. And of course, because don't forget, Donald Trump, as insane and incompetent, as stupid as he is driving this particular bus. They want us to be divided. So what do we do? Well, luckily, those of us on the right side of things, and again, if 1 out of 4 people are skeptical about vaccines, 3 out of 4 are not. Most of us are already vaccinated. Most of our children are already vaccinated. Those of us in blue states should be fine. Those of us in red states, guess what? There is still a window of opportunity here. Get every single vaccine you can get as long as your doctor tells you it's okay. Get your children's vaccines up to date. Do not leave anything to chance, and have conversations, because this is not theoretical. This is obvious on its face. Children are dying for the first time in 10 years from a disease that we have almost eradicated because of people like Kennedy and people who have enabled him, like you, Bill Cassidy, and Donald Trump. He is being empowered to send a message that is so dangerous to the future health of Americans, including our children, that we need to fight back with everything we have. And unfortunately, that means actual evidence of preventable deaths. So point to those facts when you happen to be speaking to somebody who is misguided enough to swallow the dangerous disinformation these viciously cruel, stupid, and sociopathic people are pushing. Please take a second and like and share this video. It'd be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please follow us and give the show a 5-star rating, because it really does help other people find our content. Thanks.